Acast powers the world's best podcasts. Here's a show that we recommend.
Hey, I'm Kim Holderness.
And I'm Ben Holderness.
We host the Holderness Family Podcast every Tuesday.
You may know us from the silly videos that we make online.
Or a book about marriage called Everybody Fights.
Or as winners of season 33 of The Amazing Race.
Still can't believe that happened. Listen, we do a lot of stuff, but our podcast is our most favorite thing.
Yeah, because every week we get to sit down face to face, talk to each other about marriage, family, mental health, or just anything that we want to know more about.
Sometimes we have expert interviews, sometimes it's just us, but our goal is to bring some joy and laughter into your life every week.
Our other goal is that maybe you will learn something as well.
Right, so search the Holderness Family Podcast and check out our most recent episodes. We have one about staying organized with creators of the Home Edit.
And one about being diagnosed with ADHD as an adult.
We hope you'll join us.
Acast helps creators launch, grow, and monetize their podcasts everywhere. Acast.com.
On today's Smart 7, Rishi celebrates his first birthday, Trump's troubles double, and lots more. It's Thursday, the 26th of October. It's National Pumpkin Day, and happy birthday, Hillary Clinton.
The Smart 7. It's news, but not the news.
The death toll in Gaza continues to mount while the UN Refugee Agency warned that displaced Palestinians are having to sleep in the streets as their shelters are overwhelmed. Oxfam also warned that Gaza is only receiving 2% of its normal supplies of food and that with fuel running out, relief efforts are really struggling. Israel, however, is still preparing for a ground invasion, with Prime Minister Netanyahu saying his war cabinet are working around the clock. The US has called for any invasion to be delayed until it can deploy air defence systems in the region, primarily to protect US bases. And President Joe Biden has called for a long-term solution to bring peace to the region. As international pressure mounts, Israeli Defence Forces spokesman Lieutenant Colonel Peter Lerner told Kay Burley he does have sympathy for civilians caught in the middle.
This is a tragedy on both sides of the fence, and my heart weeps for all of the civilians that are caught up in this. I hope that the people of Gaza will have the peace that they deserve, just as the people of Israel deserve.
Matters are complicated by the fact that Hamas are still holding at least 200 hostages, although efforts to secure their release is continuing. Founding Executive Director of Hostage US, Rachel Briggs OBE, says the situation is critical.
It's one of the most, if not the most complicated hostage situations I've seen in the 25 years that I've been working on them. Here we have a situation where it's not just about the hostages, it's not just about the conflict between Israel and Hamas, the dynamics in the region, the implication for the US and another interest in the region. It's about all of those things all at once.
It was Rishi Sunak's birthday on Wednesday. Not his actual birthday, that's in May, but his 1-year anniversary of becoming Prime Minister. 1 year might not seem like much, but it's actually 7.5 Liz Trusses. He celebrated with a high-speed social video listing off lots of accomplishments, but Labour leader Sir Keir Starmer wasn't in quite the same celebratory mood. He was busy pointing out just how many by-elections Rishi had lost and had a birthday request of his own.
Will he just call a general election and give the British public the chance to respond? They've heard the government telling them to F off, and they want the chance to return the compliment.
Inaction Man wasn't prepared to take that, however, hitting back with his list of big decisions.
Politicians like him always take the easy way out, Mr. Speaker, whereas we're getting on making the right long-term decisions to change this country for the better. Contrast that to his leadership. Too cautious to say anything and hope that nobody notices, Mr. Speaker.
The good news from America on Wednesday was that the House of Representatives finally managed to elect a speaker after 3 weeks of chaos. The bad news is that the new speaker, Mike Johnson of Louisiana, is a prominent 2020 election denier and has Donald Trump's full support. That was the only bright spot in Donald's day, though. He continued with his New York fraud trial, where he had to sit through testimony from his former lawyer and fixer Michael Cohen. He also managed to annoy the judge in the case with comments outside the court, which got him an immediate $10,000 fine for breaching a gag order. And to really put the icing on the cake, it emerged that his former chief of staff during the whole of the 2020 election period, Mark Meadows, has taken an immunity deal and is fully cooperating with Special Counsel Jack Smith in the January 6th investigation. Former New Jersey Governor and fellow Republican presidential candidate Chris Christie summed up what that means.
You do not give immunity, complete immunity, to the former White House chief of staff unless he's got information that is devastating and that you couldn't get any other way. Donald Trump is accused of trouble.
Wednesday was another bad day for the reputation of the UK's police forces. 2 Met police officers were fired for gross misconduct over the stop and search of 2 athletes in 2020. British World Championship medalist Bianca Williams and Portuguese Olympic sprinter Ricardo dos Santos were handcuffed and searched outside their London home. They say they were racially profiled. Meanwhile, in South Wales, a former police officer was given a multiple life sentence for coercing over 200 underage girls to send him explicit photos on Snapchat. Assistant Chief Constable Daniel Richards apologised to the families involved.
The crimes committed by Lewis Edwards are despicable, and the public will be as shocked and sickened as we are. As soon as we knew that the suspect was a serving officer, Lewis Edwards was suspended and sacked to remove him from the service.
So to come on the Smart 7, Olivia Rodrigo's mom gets awkward and city sweep up in Switzerland.
Right after this.
Explore beyond the stratosphere in Museum of the Bible's compelling exhibition, Scripture and Science, Our Universe, Ourselves, Our Place, in Washington, D.C., open now through January 15th, featuring artifacts from trailblazers in history like Isaac Newton, Nicholas Copernicus, and hidden figures like Dorothy Vaughan. This exhibit guides you through groundbreaking discoveries and thought-provoking questions. Come and see how Scripture and Science have shaped our world. Get your tickets today at museumofthebible.org.
Welcome back.
Wednesday night saw more Champions League action. Newcastle faced Dortmund but struggled to contain the German side and lost 1-0, which leaves them with work to do to qualify for the next round. Manchester City travelled to Switzerland to face Young Boys, but the Swiss side were no match for Pep's men, who comfortably won 3-1 with 2 goals from Erling Haaland. Guardiola was full of praise for his team and Haaland after the game.
I'm really, really pleased for the way we played, for the half 9-9. We need one more game to qualify mathematically, but after that we have to do more to finish first.
Olivia Rodrigo is back promoting her new album called Guts. She's already had a hit single from it, Vampire, which has been a worldwide #1, and now she's been out and about on the late night talk shows. She really went all out though, popping up to surprise Jimmy Kimmel's kids on their way to school and then sharing an awkward story about how her mom describes what she does.
She was getting her hair done and the hairdresser was like, "Oh, how old's your daughter?" She's like, "Oh, she's 19. And "Oh, where is she right now?" She's like, "Oh, she's working in Vegas." And I was like, "Oh, well, what does she do?" And my mom's like, "She's in entertainment." And so the hairdresser just stops asking questions because she thinks that I'm a stripper,
Bradley Cooper really is a pretty versatile guy. He's been a raccoon, he's been an American sniper, but he's not just an actor, he's also got a love for music. He wrote, directed and starred in the remake of A Star Is Born with Lady Gaga, and now he's at it again, this time with the story of American composer Leonard Bernstein and his wife Felicia. He's written and directed this, and it's executive produced by Steven Spielberg and Martin Scorsese. It had rave reviews at the Venice Film Festival, and it hit cinemas in November and Netflix in December.
Oh, she's so beautiful. Tell me about her.
Oh, she's wonderful. She's a lovely girl.
What age are we living in? One can be as free as one likes without guilt or confession. Please, I know exactly who you are.
He can be the first great American conductor.
You've been listening to The Smart 7. We'll be back tomorrow at 7 a.m. Hit that follow button and have a great day. Give us 7 minutes, and we'll give you the world.
Acast powers the world's best podcasts. Here's a show that we recommend.
Hey, I'm Kim Holderness.
And I'm Ben Holderness.
We host the Holderness Family Podcast every Tuesday.
You may know us from the silly videos that we make online.
Or a book about marriage called Everybody Fights.
Or as winners of season 33 of The Amazing Race.
Still can't believe that happened. Listen, we do a lot of stuff, but our podcast is our most favorite thing.
Yeah, because every week we get to sit down face to face, talk to each other about marriage, family, mental health, or just anything that we want to know more about.
Sometimes we have expert interviews, sometimes it's just us, but our goal is to bring some joy and laughter into your life every week.
Our other goal is that maybe you will learn something as well.
Right, so search the Holderness Family Podcast and check out our most recent episodes. We have one about staying organized with creators of the home edit.
And one about being diagnosed with ADHD as an adult.
We hope you'll join us.
Acast helps creators launch, grow, and monetize their podcasts everywhere. Acast.com.